Welcome to Relax Time Radio, broadcast nightly from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Radio Thailand, Chiang Mai.
All you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
There's fancy music everywhere, heard throughout the land. But here
Good evening, welcome to Relax Time Radio. It's Thursday night. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really fantastically well, thank you, Russell.
That's what I like to hear.
Thursday the 29th of August. Can you believe it? This year is just flying by.
Yeah,
In a blur of fantastically brilliant radio shows.
that's right, and fun.
Oh, and relaxation.
You know, I just love this time of year. You know, there's a certain quality, a magic, if you will,
Here in Chiang Mai?
all over the place. Something about August. You know, just this tail end of the season here.
Well, look, I tell you one thing. August is renowned as the month when people release fantastically brilliant music.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think it is.
For me, for all of us.
But you know it. You feel it in
Yeah,
your bones.
I do.
You know, you just think, when did that great album come out? August.
Yeah.
You know,
Gee, it seems to have been August.
it does seem to have been August. And along those lines, we're going to be checking out a whole bunch of great albums that were released over the years during the month of August, starting with Jeff Buckley's Grace.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Which was released on the 23rd of August 1994, a little bit more than 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And a little bit of fanfare and celebration about that recently around town on social media, and people talking about how much of a pivotal album it was.
Yeah.
A little bit overlooked at the time, I think it's fair to say. It didn't. None of the big singles off Grace
Right.
hit. I think the highest single was number 8 in the UK or something like that. You know, it was a bit even on the indie rock kind of charts. Jeff Buckley was no Counting Crows.
That's right.
Like at
Not
that
even
time,
close.
He was no Stone Temple Pilots or whatever. There were bands that were still,
Or even Velvet Revolver.
because he wasn't even really grunge.
No.
And he kind of came through and got overshadowed. I
He
think.
defied classification.
Yeah, he was pretty amazing.
Really. He was pretty amazing. I mean, there were so many elements involved in his music, and
His lyrics were incredible. They're highly
his vocal
poetic,
range,
you know.
everything, he was a little too talented for his own good in terms of, making it financially viable.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't really the craze in the early mid-90s to listen to someone who was exceptionally talented as a musician.
I remember at the time thinking, who is this guy? You know, like what that music is really, I don't get it at the time.
Well, I
you
knew
know.
his father's music
Tim
first,
Buckley, yeah.
Tim Buckley, and I appreciated that, and I actually kind of ignored him as being kind of a Julian Lennon type
Oh,
of.
yeah. Like
I dismissed him as kind of always riding his father's coattails, which he wasn't. But
Yeah, 'cause
I
he's-
was totally unaware of that.
I think he's actually massively better. But I mean, it's hard to tell because he only released one real album,
Right.
Grace, and
And then
was
the
a bit of a
posthumous.
compilation kind
Right.
of hashed together sort of album.
Right.
So it's always hard to say.
It is hard to say, and I think that maybe that Well, you know, the relationship between his father and himself, which was not really not a relationship at all. I think they only met twice.
Yeah, right.
But did him a certain disservice, at least as far as I'm concerned. You know, as I say, I kind of wrote him off as.
It's funny
you know.
because another big August album that we're going to open with a track from after Jeff Buckley is Jane's Addiction with their
Oh, boy.
incredible Ritual de lo Habitual, which was released
Came out a
on
little
the
earlier.
21st of August 1990. So this was really pre-grunge. It was Jane's Addiction were kind of a art rock metal
Sleaze.
sort of
Kinda LA
band. Yeah, they were
band.
LA. They were a mix of styles. They brought together this kind of dark street kind of storytelling. Yeah, with a really edgy kind of arty vibe to it. And they only released 2 proper albums. They had a kind of a live hash together album as well. But the lead singer Perry Farrell, he put together the Lollapalooza Festival as a farewell for Jane's Addiction in 1991 when they were about to break up. And of course this single act created the entire festival culture that we know
Right.
for the
Yeah.
past nearly 30 years. I mean, no one, you had Reading Festival and Glastonbury Festival
Yeah.
in the UK, but they were kind of like camp out, get muddy
Right.
festivals. Nothing in the States, nothing in Australia had 1 or 2 small things. But then Perry Farrell,
The U.S. also had, you know, some small,
Yeah.
you know, festivals, but nothing.
he was like,
Of
let's,
the magnitude
let's tour
of,
it around. Let's
right.
get 8 of the biggest bands of the day. So I think the first Lollapalooza had 9 Inch Nails, Susie and the Banshees, Ice-T and Body Count. It had Roland's Band. It had, God, there was a few others as well.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, good bands. And then by
Cutting edge at the
the
time.
time they rolled around to the second one, it was like, you know, Smashing Pumpkins,
The
and like
Beastie
John-
Boys,
Beastie Boys,
Luscious
exactly,
Jackson
Cypress
was there.
Hill, and you know, all sorts of
I
stuff.
think Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, so it became this real mishmash kind of place of hip hop,
Yeah.
metal, punk.
But that was kind
you
of
know,
where it was conceived too, in the idea of like, hey, you know, let's
break down the barriers.
break down the boundaries between these different genres, which have a lot in common.
Which is what Jane's Addiction
Was
really
already doing,
did.
yeah,
You know, they were
with their own
amazing
music.
because they had a thrash metal drummer and guitarist in the form of Dave Navarro and Steve Perkins. They were from a speed metal band called Disaster that they formed in high school. Then you had Eric Avery with his kind of thundering bass, which was just so primal and so, you know, really thunderous.
Yeah.
And then Perry was kind of like this Bauhaus, you know, Susie and the Banshees, sort of, he had a bit of that gothic rock kind of strangeness going on, you know, unclassifiable vocals. Anyway, but we'll check it out. We got a Classic Girl by Jane's Addiction, but before that we're going to have, I think, the title track, Grace, from Jeff Buckley, yeah?
That's what we've got.
And if you would like to contribute your own favourite album from August, song from August, any old song or anything at all, you can give us a call on 053 276 793, or you can find us on Facebook. Relax Time Radio is the page.
That's right. Don't forget to click like while you're there.
Yeah.
And on that note, we got Jeff Buckley. Grace.
Stick around.
Asking to stay long enough for the clouds to fly me away. Oh, it's my time coming. I'm not afraid to die. she cries to the clicking of time, of time. Waiting in the fire, waiting in the fire. Waiting in the fire, waiting in the She weeps on my arm, walking to the bright lights and sorrow. Oh, drink a bit of wine, we both might go tomorrow. Oh, my love, and the rain is falling. I believe my time has come. It reminds me of the pain I might leave behind. Wait in the fire, wait in the fire. Wait in the fire, wait in the And I feel them surround my name. So easy to know and forget with these kiss. I'm not afraid to go. Would it go so shots go out, no one bothers. Hey, Poppin', they reply, Poppin', no. Such a classic girl gives a man a great idea, and he should tell your friends, hey man, why don't you listen to my great idea? It's true, I am a villain. When you fall ill, that's probably because there never can be not like a girl, such a classic girl, such a classic They may say those were the days, but anyway, you know, for us these are the days. Yeah, for us these are the days, and you know, you're my girl, such a classic girl, such a classic girl. You know, for us these are the days.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Yeah, welcome back. That was it. Jane's Addiction.
Classic Girl from
Yeah.
Ritual de la Habitual, which the critic Andrew Perry it said in Select magazine, it all makes you realize how few bands actually bother to try and be any good or to play stuff that's inspirational. He was referring, of course, to Jane's Addiction's Ritual album.
Yeah.
And he went on to say, Nirvana's Nevermind would never have been possible without it. And along the way, they ushered in a Led Zeppelin revival.
Do you think it's true?
The
That seems a bit
revival or the Nirvana.
The whole Nirvana claim.
Well, it's a funny thing because I think Jane's Addiction are in the same category as Sonic Youth in that they were sort of half a generation before. You know, they had to. You know, Nirvana came through. They had a few years before they all broke it big and everyone went huge.
Yeah.
Whereas bands like Sonic Youth, Jane's Addiction, others like that, they'd done it like a decade or more
Yeah.
by the time they even got to
True.
that point. You know, like, and they were really, they'd gone through all the alienating periods of the 80s where they were just, completely overlooked by everyone and everything. Like, no real record company wanted anything to do with
That's true.
that sort of music at that time. So anyway, pretty cool. And of course, Jeff Buckley's Grace, man, we heard the title track there.
Yeah.
David Bowie considered Grace to be the best album ever made.
What?
Yeah.
He said that.
And he said it would be number one of his 10 Desert Island discs if he had to take
Number
10.
one.
Yeah, it would be the first one that he'd take would be Grace. And man, the accolades for Jeff Buckley's stuff, there's just so many musicians, so many artists, so many actors, so many people who really revere that album and everything that it...
And for good reason.
Yeah, I mean, one said, like the best films or the best of art, there's something going on underneath and there's a truth there. Jeff Buckley's music is absolutely haunting and just gets under your skin.
Yeah.
That was the one and only Brad Pitt, one of your favorite inspirational
Yeah, I don't really
music.
take my musical cues from Brad, but fair enough. Hey, somebody's got to say it. Thank you, Brad.
Man, so there you go, some good stuff. And we got some more great music coming up.
We do have.
What's next on our
We got some
playlist?
Taylor Swift,
Oh,
some Bon Iver,
You
and
must- and that other one,
Sleater Kinney.
Slater Kinney. We're always banging on about those guys.
No, we sure are.
Yeah, because we're talking about our future retro segment, of course.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, which is those three musicians. This is all music that's been released this August. Faith by Bon Iver,
Yeah.
Lover by Taylor Swift from her album of the
Who's
same
making
name.
waves these days with her
The
controversial,
re-recording
Video Music Awards, outspokenness.
And she's re-recording her back catalogue
Yeah.
to just spite the earlier record company,
Yeah.
right?
Hey,
That's actually pretty cool.
you be you, Taylor. That's what I say.
And we got Slater Kinney, Can I Go On, which is coming from their new album, The Center Won't Hold. So
Yeah.
we got those three. You better strap yourself in for that. It's going to be
That's right.
quite the ride. If you think August 1990 and August 1994 delivered the goods,
Yeah.
you should check out what's happening
Yeah.
in August
I'm
now.
gonna put this August in review.
Yeah. So let's jump into those tracks. Again, if you would like to contribute to the show in any way, shape, or form, you're always welcome to do so.
And encouraged.
Yeah, 053-276-793.
Or reach out to us on the internet. Find us on Facebook, Relax Time Radio. Click the like button on the page and PM us with your requests, dedications, and feedback. Also, don't forget, if you haven't done so already, to check out our live stream on youtube.com. Just search for us there.
I'm
and,
checking it out right now.
I'm checking it out too.
Yeah. Oh, we look good.
You look great.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, let's jump into these
Yeah.
tunes. This is Future Retro.
Sure is. Bon Iver. And we'll be back.
Shattered in history, shattered in pain. Oh, in the lengths that I would stay up late, but brought to my space the wonderful things I've learned to waste. I should have known that I shouldn't hide, to compromise and to cover all what's inside. there is no desire. You have to decide if you'll come to know the faithful God. Time and again, it's time to be brave. Content to the phrases that are Darwin mazes, just some kind of pages. This for my sister, that for my maple. It's like going the road I'd known at the time of God, in order to become stable. Am I depending in what I'm defending? We get to hold what faith provides. Fold your hands into mine. Do I believe it? See it every time. I walk slowly in the dark. This is a visitor, and we have to know that faith declines. I'm not out of the way.
We could leave the Christmas lights up till January. This is our place, we make the rules. And there's a dazzling haze, a mysterious way about you, dear. Have I known you 20 seconds or 20 years? Can I go where you go? Can we always be this close forever and ever? And take me out and take me home. You're my lover. We could let our friends crash in the living room. This is our place, we make the call. And I'm highly suspicious that everyone who sees you wants you. I've loved you 3 summers now, honey, but I want 'em all. Can I go where you go? Can we always be this close forever and ever? And take me out and take me home forever and ever. You're my lover.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Yeah, welcome back.
All right.
There you have it.
Yeah, that was Can I Go On by Slater Kinney.
It sure was.
Released in the last 10 days or so. And before that, we had Taylor Swift with Lover,
Yeah.
which you and I were assessing as kind of like a, we called it rather unkindly, the poor man's Mazzy Star.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
know,
well,
if
you know,
Mazzy
bless
Star.
her heart for
Yeah, I
for
actually
trying to do something that I might like.
sign me up. I like that infinitely more than any other Taylor Swift thing
Yeah.
I've ever heard.
Not that I've really, sat down
just
and
like
listened to
the
her
back
music.
catalog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's only had 7 albums out, so
Yeah, well, she won those awards, and I was like, well, I gotta check her out. I mean,
you're like, she's the new Missy Elliott.
she's kind of rubbing elbows with Kanye at award shows and things.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Rubbing mics.
yeah. And I thought, well, there must be something.
And there wasn't really.
Yeah, and I was really deeply disappointed.
Yeah, but someone out there likes her. And
Yeah, I guess
before
so.
that, we had Faith by Bon Iver
We did.
from the I
And that was pretty
album.
good too. I think
Yeah.
that that's as good as any of his stuff that I've heard.
We've got a bit of a thing for Bon Iver.
Yeah.
He's always
We
out
all
in
do.
the-
He's just so mysterious.
He's always out in the woods in some
the
sort
snow
of
and-
cabin in the
yeah.
snow with bears.
Yeah.
and
and
just-
feeling very sensitive
he's
and,
very
and
woke.
expressive.
He's super woke, just doing woke stuff in a cabin.
Just it's almost a kind of Taoist in nature. The way he just is totally neither here nor there. It's
he's
like
very like, hold my calls.
yeah, what,
I'm in the cabin for the next
Yeah.
season.
yeah, just being sensitive.
When
and,
will you be back?
you know.
When the season's concluded.
Yeah, right. When the seasons change. Yeah, that's Bone. He's
Yeah, Bon Iver.
he's just deeply mysterious, deeply sensitive about what exactly we're not sure,
We don't know, but,
but
we like
he's
it.
feeling it.
Yeah, he's alive.
He is.
Speaking of alive, Pearl Jam.
Speaking of alive, yeah, we got Pearl Jam alive. Now this album
Yeah.
was just insanely
Huge.
successful.
It's funny, it came out on the 27th of August, 1991. This is, of course, 10, which is the debut album of Pearl Jam. And it's funny because it was very slow to sell at the time. It was a weird kind of thing because Pearl Jam had actually recorded 10 completely, and it was released a month before Nirvana released Nevermind,
Right.
which was on Geffen, I guess, and was a huge, the defining album of the year kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just blew up massively. So, but they copped a huge amount of flack. Pearl Jam, this is, from the music press, from hardcore grunge people, including Kurt Cobain, who slagged them off
Oh, did he?
fiercely
Fair
for
enough.
ages, just saying that they were this kind of manufactured, cobbled together band, and they were just lining
Which they
their pockets
weren't
with
really,
money.
to be fair.
They absolutely were not, as you know, but it was a prevailing kind of idea at the time
Yeah.
with Pearl Jam.
Well, they looked the part.
And this is funny because Jane's Addiction with Ritual, considered a classic album, it's twice platinum, right? Certified by the
Is it?
RIAA. Pearl Jam's 10 is 13 times platinum, and
What?
it's massive. It's
Is
one
that
of the,
Diamond yet?
what's Diamond?
I think 10 million, isn't it?
So it's okay. 10 million. It crossed on the. It was the 22nd album of all time to cross the 10 million mark,
Then it's
and
then
it's
Diamond.
certified 13 times platinum. So yeah, I guess
That
Diamond.
sold as well as Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, totally, without the controversy. So it was a huge thing, and of course, the guys from Pearl Jam, they were sort of leftover guys from Mother Love Bone, and the lead vocalist from that, Andrew Wood, died of a drug overdose in 1990, and they were kind of floating around trying to still have some sort of band, and they ended up getting a couple of other guys, namely Eddie Vedder and
Who had not, he'd not been involved in any bands prior to that, had he?
no, but he got a demo of Mookie Blaylock, like the whatever Pearl Jam was known as at that time. It was given to him by former Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Jack Irons.
Oh, yeah?
Gave Eddie Vedder the demo, and Eddie apparently listened to the demo, went surfing, and then wrote a bunch of lyrics for 4 or 5 tracks, including Alive and Once, which was the opening track off the album. So, and then they just kind of got together, and they actually recorded it in Seattle, but then there was a mixing sort of thing went down in some far-flung barn kind of thing in the UK, so there was a legit album being produced by these guys, and they had a very different focus to, say, a Nirvana. Nirvana were coming through with, like, listening to Black Flag.
Yeah.
They were listening to bands like
The Melvins.
Yeah, stuff like that, and a bit more Sonic Youth and Killing Joke.
And Daniel Johnston,
they
apparently.
were kind of into punk, punk metal kind of weird stuff. And Pearl Jam was more, they had this Neil Young thing going on.
Right. And
they
something
were,
a little more effeminate.
Yeah, and very poetic. It was like really like beautiful, and lots of nature mixed with kind of alienation, urban alienation kind of themes. Anyway, it was a big album, and really, really massive.
And still is,
And
in its way.
so we're going to listen to a track off that. We got a little sneaky Jane's Addiction in there as well, and then we're going to jump into we got to talk about this before we get into the music.
A huge turning point.
Metallica's Black Album.
Yeah.
Now this, you're thinking, what? Metallica on Relax Time Radio? You don't have to worry, because this is one of the most tame things they ever kind of put out.
Dare I say insipid?
Well, at the time, I remember being revolted at the time,
Yeah.
and I came through with the thrash from Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets,
And Justice for all of
Justice,
that.
and even Kill 'Em All at the start. So really into Metallica. And then by that stage, indie alternative had taken off. So bands like Jane's Addiction, bands like Red Hot Chili Peppers, they were like blowing up really huge.
Yeah.
And Metallica was a bit passé and a bit. You wouldn't be rocking your Metallica shirt when you're walking down the mall anymore.
Not
at that
anymore.
time,
No.
at that time.
Yeah. They made it very uncool to like them.
And to make it worse, they did 2 ballads on the album. I think we're going to hear Nothing Else Matters, which is probably the most well-known of the 2. And then there's another one, The Unforgiven. They're actually
That we're
great
not gonna
songs.
hear.
And they have lasted, like if you see them in the live shows, they still hold it together. It's a nice break.
I guess.
But at the time, we were all kind of horrified, and it was a troubling time for metal bands, because metal had been on the ascendant through the mid-'80s, probably peaked around 87, 88. And by this stage, remember, in September 1991, the next month after Metallica drops the Black Album, Guns N' Roses releases Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, their crazy double album.
Right.
Gobbledygook, mixed up
They
thing.
said we can pick up on this whole audience in one fell swoop.
And it was just so strange, And anyway, as you know, Guns N' Roses and Metallica did that massive tour in 1992, where they had lots of riots and lots of battles between the bands. But it was a funny thing. It was kind of like watching 2 dying giant leviathans battling it out. Like Guns N' Roses having a feud with Metallica in 1991/92. It was really in the category of who cares.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh,
by
by
that
that point,
stage,
yeah,
by
definitely.
the sort of popular.
They become old
egregore.
overnight
Yeah.
behind the whole grunge thing, you know?
They did. That's pretty much the best way to put it. But anyway, Nothing Else Matters is a good track, and we're going to hear it after the Janes and after the Pearl Jam.
Let's do that.
Yeah, some great August albums here on Relax Time Radio.
That's right. But we're open to your requests, your dedications, and whatever else you've got. Give us a call.
You know how to find us. We're not going to say
Hit
it
up the
again.
request line.
Yeah, you know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it by now,
Yeah. Well, let me say the number. I never get to say it. And
Go on, say
I
it.
just saw I've got it over here now. 053-276-793. That's the number to call with your requests and your thoughts on tonight's show or
Yes.
anything else. Or find us on Facebook, Relax Time Radio. Here's some Pearl Jam. We'll be back.
She said, have I got a little story for you? What you thought was your daddy was nothing but a while you were sitting home alone at age 13. Your real lady was dying. Sorry you didn't see them, but I'm glad we talked. She walked slowly across a young man's room. She said, I'm ready for you. Why, I can't remember anything to this very day except the love. Oh, you know where. Now I can see. I just stare. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still Is something wrong, she said. Of course there is. You're still alive, she said. Oh, do I deserve to be? Is that the question? And if so, when I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive.
incredible, right?
Yes.
I'm James Corden and I am here with SK2 Global Ambassador.
So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who you are, and nothing else matters. Never opened myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. All these words I don't just say, and nothing else matters. Trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for us something new. Open mind for a different view, and nothing else matters. Never care for what they do. Never care for what they know. But I know. So close, no matter how far. It couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are, and nothing else matters. Never care for what they do. Never care for what they know. But I know. I never opened myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. All these words I don't just say, and nothing else matters. Trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for us something new. Open mind for a different view,
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And we're back.
Hey, that was Nothing Else Matters from Metallica's Black Album.
Sure was.
Now, interestingly, Russell, remember how we were saying that in the kind of, I don't know, the trend or the egregore at the time, in the early 90s, 91, when that Black Album was released, it was a bit on the nose, you know, it was not really considered cool.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Now, get this. It debuted at number 1 in 10 countries, spent 4 consecutive weeks at the top of the Billboard 200, making it Metallica's first album to top the charts.
Yeah.
Now, by September last year, 2018,
Yeah.
Metallica's Black Album had spent 500 weeks on the Billboard album chart,
Yeah.
making it one of the 4 longest running albums of all time.
Yeah. What are the other 3?
Don't know, but interestingly, it's 16 times platinum, and it was the first album in the SoundScan era to reach that level of sales. So it's a huge album, which is weird because, you know, I mean, you'd want it to be, because it was an album that was remixed 3 times and cost US $1 million to record back in the day. So it was a huge blowout kind of thing, you know, with Motley Crue, mixer like Bob Rock on, you know, taking care.
That was the first one Bob Rock produced for them, was it not?
Exactly, it was. And, you know, there was a bit of conflict, and to say the least. And, you know, he had a lot of trouble working with those guys because they used to work with.
They had a lot of trouble working with those guys.
Well, they used to work with Flemming Rasmussen, who he was the producer of Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, Danish, I think, and fantastic, you know. So they knew what they were dealing with, but they wanted to try this different sort of thing because Bob Rock was pretty huge at the time.
Yeah, he was. I found those other
the 3
the 3 longest running.
Yep. What are they?
Number 1. Let me go from number 3. Journey's Greatest Hits.
Oh wow.
Bob Marley's Legend, which is effectively a greatest hits compilation.
Yeah.
And number 1, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Oh wow.
How about
so they're
that?
in there with the real
With Journey, yeah.
Journey, Pink Floyd, and Bob Marley. I mean,
And Bob Marley's
that's
greatest hits,
the
yeah.
classic T-shirt shop bands or
Well, that's
the
the thing.
poster shop bands.
I'm a
you
little
know,
surprised by Journey, honestly. I mean,
Yeah. Is
I
it the
guess
Don't
I-
Stop Believing thing?
right?
I mean,
Is it?
is
Journey.
it-
I mean, I gotta
Nirvana,
admit.
Nirvana ripped off Journey, right? For
Did they?
for the riff for Nevermind, for Teen Spirit.
Is it? Is that where they came from?
It came from
Journey?
that. What a Feeling. or
Don't Stop
whatever it-
Believing.
No, that.
Wheel in the Sky.
Hmm.
Faithfully.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Nirvana.
Who's Crying Now?
Let me see. Nirvana. Teen Spirit.
The Nirvana Journey connection. Separate Ways. No, Open Arms.
We should play the track.
Let's play it.
Let me see. Oh, I really got to look into this more.
Yeah, let's look into it more. In the meantime, in between time, we've got another 3 in a row to set things off. And
Yeah.
is that cool?
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm totally ready. It's more than a feeling.
More
from
than a feeling.
Boston,
It's
actually,
Boston.
not Journey.
Oh.
I always conflate the two.
Well, see, that just goes to show you how.
I mean, half the people who bought Journey's greatest hits probably thought they were buying Boston.
Exactly. Hence the number 3 Space Boston, huh? What a feeling?
Yeah, what a feeling.
Okay, well, maybe we can hear that a bit later in the program.
It's definitely very familiar.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get more familiar to everybody tonight. When we come back, we got a weather report. We're going to tell you exactly what's going on out there and up there.
Thank goodness. I've been wondering.
Yeah, a lot of people have. We got some more Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, that's a good
Let's
thing.
do this. Last goodbye. And as I said, when we come back, we'll get to that weather report. So
Stick around.
stick around.
This is our last goodbye. I hate to feel the love between us die, but it's over. Just hear this and then I'll go. You gave me more to live for, more than you'll ever know. This is our last embrace. Must I dream and always see your face? Why can't we overcome this war? Baby, maybe it's just because I didn't know you at all. Kiss me, please kiss me. Kiss me out of desire, baby, no consolation. Oh, you know it makes me so angry, 'cause I know that in time the currents will shift, glide me towards you. No, something's left, and we're all allowed to dream of the next. Next time we You don't have to stray the oceans away. Waves roll in my thoughts. Hold tight the ring. The sea will rise. Please stand by the shore. I will be there once now her paints are dry. And I looked outside.
You've been listening to Relax Time Radio on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Watch our live stream on YouTube and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Yeah, welcome back. There was a bit of more Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, that was Then She Did.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great
I like
track.
that one.
Really magnificent kind of arrangement.
I'll
Before
say.
that, a little bit more Pearl Jam and a little bit Jeff Buckley. Last Goodbye.
Hey, you know what I've noticed is that
What have you noticed?
it's later in my room than it is in yours.
Yeah, I'm at 2053.
Yeah, and I'm
where
at
are you?
2055 over here.
Yeah, I often wondered when you're wrapping up the show over there, I'm like, hey.
Well,
you know,
we seem further apart, and
and we're
there you have
actually
it.
drifting in time space.
exactly.
That's
They
incredible.
really put that time zoning into effect right here in the studio.
Exactly. We'll work with your time, brother.
All right, we got to work with whatever the stream from Bangkok's going to tell us.
Exactly.
I guess. But the good news is we still have time for a weather report and a little Boston, because it's more than a feeling coming up.
What's going on with this weather?
Oh,
'Cause, I
boy.
don't know if it's raining, if it's hot,
Well,
or what's happening
Yeah.
out there.
Well, it's currently 28 degrees. It's a bit muggy. Feels like 34. Partly cloudy, and that rain's on the way, but not till the wee hours of tomorrow morning.
Okay. A
Yeah.
storm around in the AM.
Exactly. Storm in the AM. T-storm. Another T-storm in spots early tomorrow night.
Oh.
And thunderstorms in spots during the day as well. So it's looking like it's going to rain from late tonight.
I was hoping to
Right
get out
through
and
tomorrow.
cut the grass early tomorrow
I
morning.
like
but
to cut
don't
the
know if
grass
it's-
in the rain.
I don't. Not at all. My place turns into a quagmire.
Yeah,
It gets
yeah.
like a mud festival kind of thing.
Like Woodstock all
Like
over again.
Woodstock 94.
You're right. Well, that just about covers it for tonight. It's
Yeah.
been great enjoying all this music.
Hey,
Came out in the
next
month of August.
Next week,
Next week.
our exclusive Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Wow, that's right.
You really have to stick around for that, because we're going to be sharing some of The Rock's wisdom, some of his philosophy, some of his greatest musical inspirations.
Yeah, we're going to be putting his life
under the microscope.
Under the microscope.
Yeah, you think you know The Rock?
Yeah.
You
You just wait.
yeah, you don't know this, Johnson.
That's right. You're going to get 90 minutes of The Rock
It's gonna be rock hard.
next Thursday. You won't
Gonna
want to
be-
miss it.
It's gonna be like a temple of inspiration. You're gonna feel so pumped afterwards. You're just
Yeah.
gonna, go out and achieve and succeed
Yeah.
as The Rock did. So stick around for that. It's gonna be a great
Stick
show
around
next
for that.
Thursday.
And we got that Boston to see us out for this evening.
Yeah, famously ripped off by Nirvana for "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. Why not? I mean, they were just guys flunking around Seattle. They probably thought no one would ever eventually really figure it out.
Exactly. Well,
So
we did.
we did. All right. Thank you, Russell. It's been a
Thank
great,
you, Paul. And
great show.
thank you, everyone who tuned in tonight. And until next time, have a great week ahead.
Yeah, be safe.
ถานีวิทยุกระจายเสียงแห่งประเทศไทยและเครือข่ายทั่วประเทศเสนอข่าวต้นชั่วโมงรู้เร็วรู้จริงเกาะติดทุกสถานการณ์
จากนี้ไปเชิญรับฟังสรุปเหตุการณ์และความเคลื่อนไหวที่น่า